Before the Clone Wars, Jedi Master Sidious had foreseen the galactic conflict, but his ideas of raising an army of the Republic were deemed too extreme by the Jedi Council. He was dismissed from the Council because of these ideas, but Sidious did not care. He pursued this army anyway. He ordered a clone army from Kamino in secret, but how did he know this galactic conflict was coming? The answer is Force visions. Visions are an aspect of the Force once possessed by all Jedi, but in the final years of the Galactic Republic, it had grown rare among Jedi. Some dark side Force users are able to experience Force visions as well, but not too many. But despite the vision's prophetic nature, Force visions were not correct all of the time. As Master Yoda explains, the future is always in motion, and a lot of the time the Jedi who would be having these visions, emotions would normally cloud their judgment of the future, so the visions would be deemed useless. Visions were treated with great caution in the Jedi Order. Jedi Master Yoda was able to see in the future more than most, but he was very wary of these visions because he understood the future is always in motion. His visions allowed him to see the fall of the Jedi and even his own death. He even once foresaw the exact moment that Order 66 was executed, but because of his wariness to his own visions and because he knew the clones were genetically engineered to obey, he brushed these visions off. But little did Yoda know they were actually engineered to obey his enemy. Now, Anakin's visions were so powerful that I can make a whole video on them alone, and I probably will. They were so strong when he was asleep that they were never known to be wrong. He foresaw his mother's death and torture by the Tusken Raiders, but was not allowed to act on these visions, and she later died in his arms. Later on, he foresaw his wife's death in childbirth, and now trusting his visions fully, he was determined to stop that from happening. Some say these visions came from Palpatine putting them in Anakin's head because he knew how much Anakin would trust his visions, but this is not 100% confirmed in canon yet. But how else would Palpatine know exactly what Anakin wants in that moment? I wouldn't be surprised if Palpatine orchestrated the death of his mother as well, but that's for a different video. Regardless, this caused Anakin to become Darth Vader, and ultimately he became the reason for his wife's death in childbirth. In the Clone Wars, Anakin also had visions of him becoming Darth Vader, which of course later came true. At the end of the Clone Wars, Maul had a vision of Anakin falling to the dark side and becoming the apprentice of Darth Sidious. Trying to prevent this from happening, Maul started a civil war on Mandalore to try and draw out the Dark Lord and kill him along with Obi-Wan Kenobi. Ahsoka also had a vision of Anakin's fall as it occurred, but she only realized that something terrible was happening, and because Order 66 was ongoing, she had no time to process what she was feeling. Luke had a Force vision of Obi-Wan telling him to go to Dagobah on Hoth. There he found Master Yoda, and he would later learn the ways of the Force from him. Once on Dagobah, he also experienced another vision of his friends suffering in Cloud City. Ignoring his masters Obi-Wan and Yoda, Luke rushed to the aid of his friends and fell right into Vader's trap. As you can tell, Force visions are very strong in the Skywalker family, and we will even get to Ben Solo later in the video. Vader knew that his son would have Force visions just as strong as him. He tortured Han to make Leia suffer just as well as Han, and he knew Luke would have visions of this and act on those visions. And because his son possessed the same power as him with his visions, Luke abandoned his training and fell into Vader's trap. Darth Sidious was able to use the dark side to peer into the future as well, and he could even manipulate events on a galactic scale. Despite this, he was unable to foresee his own demise when Vader turned back from the dark to help his son defeat and overthrow him. Rey had visions of her past and her future when touching the lightsaber of Anakin Skywalker. When training with Luke on Ahch-To, she had another vision, this one with the multiple mirror images of herself. In The Rise of Skywalker, she had another vision while in the Emperor's throne room and saw the dark side of herself when she touched the Emperor's Wayfinder. Now this one's not known by very many people, but Kylo Ren had visions that led him to find shards of archaic lore in the old bases of operations once owned by Snoke, leading him to discover that a darker force was behind Snoke. When Kylo confronted Sidious on Exegol, Sidious conjured a vision in Kylo's mind to allow him to see the rise of the Sith fleet. After the death of his mother Leia, who had sacrificed herself to save her son, Ben had a vision of his father Han Solo, who he obviously had killed previously. Han encouraged Kylo to give up the dark side and pursue what his mother had started. Ben gave up the dark side because of this and went to help Rey defeat Sidious. Yet another show of just how strong Force visions are in the Skywalker family. Force visions are extremely powerful but can also be used against you, as we saw with Luke and Vader. I believe that Force visions are sometimes the Force's way of keeping you on track. If the Force sees you are going down a path that you shouldn't be, the Force will show you what the current path you are on entails. But these visions are not to be trusted all of the time, because people can put these visions in your head as well as the Force can. We see this with Sidious multiple times with the vision that he gives Anakin about Padme dying and the visions he gives Kylo as well. Visions can and should be used to your advantage when possible, but when acting on these visions, Force users need to be wary of manipulation from all around them. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more videos just like it, click the video on the screen now. Or if you don't want to watch that video, then at least leave a like on this video, and if you want to see more videos just like this one, subscribe to the channel. Also, if you want to join the community, make sure you join the Discord, the link will be in the description. But other than that, thanks for watching the video, and I hope to see you on the next one.